Welcome to Mastering Your Monday podcast. And this is the show that talks about boundaries, work-life balance, and living a life where you have control. This is for highly driven professionals who want to develop a more balanced professional and personal life and live out their true values. Those who are ready to grab the reins and change the status quo. The professional who's ready to have a life again and who's ready to take a stand, living in a way that you feel respected, valued, and fulfilled each and every day. We talk about topics like setting boundaries, taking risks, life management, and all the tips, techniques, and strategies to help you master your Monday, one day at a time. Philioteknos. Wow, I bet you didn't know I could speak Greek. And actually, I can speak some Greek because I grew up there for a while as a child. But this word, philioteknos, it means a mother's love, which is different from all other types of love. The essence of this love is in taking care of the children, supporting them in everything, and bringing them up as good people, embracing them every time they feel alone and helping them get through the hard times. And let me tell you, if this doesn't sound like a mom, I don't know what does. So that's what I want to talk about this week because I couldn't let this week go by without really defining a mom. You know, I love a great conversation. So come on, pull up a chair, ringside that is, and let's talk the real deal today on episode 16, What Defines a Mom? Yes, it's Michelle O'Neill here with you on Mastering Your Monday podcast. And I want to know what's in a name. You know, mother, mama, mommy, mom, mummy, or just plain old mom. What's your pet name for your mother? There are so many different types of mom. So don't get locked in on just one type of mom. You know, there's your birth mother, there's your grandmother, your godmother, your chosen or bonus mother, your stepmother, mother in law, foster mom, or adopted mom. And I'm sure I probably forgot one or two. But what a mom really is a woman who has an amazing impact on your life in some form or another. She doesn't have to be your physical birth mom. But let me tell you, each one of these women have impacted my life, except I've never had a foster mom. But let me tell you how that happened. Now, my birth mom, I love her dearly. And yes, she is still alive. And I try to talk to her as much as I can, but she has instilled so much in me, so much so that sometimes I find myself thinking, oh my gosh, that sounded like my mom. But my mom taught me tenacity, strength, how to stand up for myself, how to look beyond what I see and see the possibilities. And my grandmother, her sweet, sweet spirit, her being able to always pull from her best, see the best in others, and love regardless of how others treat her. And my godmother, oh my gosh, she took care of me so much in my first 6 years. I remember spending time over her home, her feeding me, taking care of me, loving on me. And I've had, and I don't know about you, quite a few, maybe not a few, quite a few, but a few chosen bonus moms. Now, what are these? These are those women that you have chosen in your life to speak into your life. Women who feed you wisdom and love and guidance when maybe your mother isn't around. Or sometimes I remember them being friends. I mean, my friend's mother, you know, those ladies that you call mom. Oh, she's my other mom. because you feel for them as if they were your mom. You listen to them, you let them guide you, you let them direct you, you let them speak into your life and give you wisdom. That's your chosen or bonus mom. You chose her to be an intricate part of your life, and she allowed it. And then you have a stepmother and a mother in law. These are women that it's a mutual choosing that's between the two of them. Yes, you choose them and you choose your relationship that you foster among them, but they also choose you. There's nothing like the relationship between a woman and her mother in law. And it's almost that giving over of her son, that's her baby boy, and that she places his life in your hand. That's an honor. And so, fostering that relationship, building that relationship, and building that love between a woman who have a mutual, what do you call it? Focus point, and that's her son, that you both want the best. And when a mother-in-law knows that you want the best for her son, that you treat her son right, that you love her son, she is there rooting for you 100% of the time, most I mean of the process. So 100% during that time. Now, a stepmother, this is a woman who your father has chosen a lot of times and has become that bonus mom or that other woman in your life. And so instead of alienating her because she has taken part of your father, which a lot of times we feel, that changes our relationship with our father. That changes how it used to be. Now we have some woman in there who has taken some of our love, but we're looking at it all wrong because love is an abundance. There's not a scarcity of love. And so together you can build up your father and love him together and cherish him together. So again, the stepmom and the mother-in-law is a relationship with a common goal, a common love. And then we have a foster mom and the adopted mom who have chosen you, who have above everyone else, they have decided in the best situations that you are the one for them through all the agony of trying to have their own children or of wanting to nurture and share their love with someone else. They chose you to put that love on. Now, like I said, I've never had a foster mom, but my mother has been an adopted mom. And I remember as a young child, as we got the twins, Linda and Brenda. And I remember them coming home. My mother and father decided to adopt two babies, and these were twins, Linda and Brenda, and they brought them home, and they weren't even sure whether they're going to make it. They actually brought them home in incubators in our home. And I remember over that week how my mother and myself and my father were in the rooms watching them, taking care of them, and the love that I saw from my mom and how she cared for them. And I didn't feel neglected or anything. In fact, I was part of that process with her. I was allowed to be a part of welcoming these two new children in. Unfortunately, they did not make it. But I got to witness this part of my mom also. There are so many ways that we can be moms. Don't always think of mom as someone who had the physical experiencing of birthing a baby, but it is just demonstrated by the way she lives, loves, and nurtures. How many of you have had an aunt that treats you like a mom or cares for you like a mom? How many of you had um, a woman in a certain job? You've ever gone to a job and there was this one woman that kind of took you under her wing and always cared for you, and you actually say, "Oh, she's mom." These women aren't naturally your mom, and some of them have never ever had children, but that doesn't stop them from living, loving, and nurturing. And that is so much of what a mother is. Motherhood isn't only defined by our physical experience of birthing, And it's not a vocation or a rite of passage, but in a way, it's a way of living and giving. It's a way of loving and nurturing. That's what a mother is. And we need to look at the definition of mother as so much more than that physical experience. Yes, it's awesome when we can have those physical experiences. And yes, I did have my own daughter. But you know what? I can love even those who are not my own children. So, how many in your life, how many women in your life, tell me, I wish I could see by a show of hand because I'm raising my hand right now, but how many women in your life fit that description? Someone who loves you and nurtures you, who's there when you need them, who's there as your cheerleader, when you're sad to pick you up, to support you. That is a mom. A woman is a caregiver, and she's an unconditional love giver. Her love is unconditional, and I'm telling you, a mother love is unconditional. There is something about a mother, and not only on TV, but there is something about a mother, even when her child is misbehaving, it does not negate the love. She may be angry and she may not love the way her child is acting, but you can't remove the love of that child from her. A mother is a housekeeper, a cooker, a baker, a taxi driver, a psychologist, a doctor, and a discipliner. Yes, your mom has been all of that, most of us in our lives. And I remember two movies growing up, that in the movies, like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie, but Imitation of Life, that really had an impact on me for so many different reasons. But Imitation of Life and Nanny. And I'm saying these because you think of this, in Imitation of Life, the mother there, the maid there was more of a mother to the children than the actual mother. And in Nanny, that's what Nanny became, one of my favorite shows, with her nasal voice. But in Nanny, she was the mother that the kids no longer had because their mother had died. So she became that surrogate mother, I guess you can say, for those children. So there are so many times that in our lives, if we don't even know who our mother is, if we've never met our mother, or our birth mother isn't the best woman in our lives for us right now, there are other women, I am almost sure, that have showed up in your lives, and they have been moms in your life. You know, our moms bear the burden of everything good and everything bad as our days grow on. So what am I saying? You know, all the good and the bad, our teen years, that angry, disruptive child that some of us become, our mother still loves us. That talking back young adolescent that we are, our mother still loves us. You know, that toddler who keeps throwing things and saying no and biting their mom, our mom still loves us. So our mother bears that burden of the good and the bad as our days grow on, and love us regardless. And let me tell you this, that does not go away. My daughter is 38, and I think she's 38 years old, but I love her as much today, or even more so today, as I did when she was just born. I can't take my love away from her. I love her regardless of what she do. Now, there are times I don't like what she does. I'm not crazy about her behavior, but I still love her. I'm her mother, and I love her. There are also different seasons that we go through in our love. Now, as a young child, when our kids are young children, or when we're mothering young children, we're their protector. We're trying to keep them away from harm and things like that. And you know what? There's sometimes that we take that same role, the protector, into the wrong stages of their lives, because we don't want our children to deal with the consequences of their actions. We don't want them to suffer, and we're still protecting them when there's a time that we need to let go. So usually we're the protector when they're first finding their feet as young children, as toddlers, as that first few years of school. We're their protector. We're there to take care of them and help them with their scrapes on their knees and those bumps that they get along the way. And then somewhere along that way, we start shifting to the disciplinarian. As your child start maturing and they're testing you and they're trying to figure out, where they can push their limits and what buttons they can push and how they can get their way and all that. Then we start putting those rules in place. We start teaching them the consequences of their actions and what happens when they make certain decisions in their lives and how that affects them. We start giving them the ownership and responsibility of who they are and what they want to do. So that's as our child matures. Now, there is nothing I've said so far that you can't do, even if you're not a birth mother. We play these roles in some child's life. And then as they're grown, when they finally get out there on their own, let me tell you, there is nothing like a relationship with your adult child. I remember crying when my daughter finally left home. She was 18 years old and she went into the military. And at first, I didn't go through that empty nest and all those things that, they say, oh, you're going to feel this way. I was fine. I was good. We had some issues. So when she left, whew, but it was fine. I was fine. But somewhere after that first month, one night, I was laying in bed and I just started crying. And I thought to myself, this is worse than a divorce. My child is gone. Our relationship will never, ever be the same. When she comes back, I can't treat her the same. I will continue to love her, but my love shifts. Our relationship from this point on has changed. And let me tell you, my daughter is now my friend. And so that's a different season that you have. Now, as a young child, as a maturing child, that is not the time to be a friend. You can't be a friend and a disciplinarian at the same time because it conflicts and you have a conflict there. And that's one thing I learned. How many times have you heard a mom say, you know what? You ain't got to like me. I don't need you to be my friend, but I do need you to respect me. I am your mother. And that's what plays out as a disciplinarian. But as a friend, the conversations, the sharing, the depth of the love. Oh my gosh. I love the relationship that my daughter and I have now. And there's every once in a while I try to fall back into that protector. And she's like, Mom, I'm grown. Mom, I got this. I can handle this. And I have to remind myself to step back. A mother is selfless, loving human who must sacrifice many of their wants and needs for the wants and the needs of their children. We do that because that's just what a mom does. A mom works hard to make sure that, we work hard to make sure our children are equipped with knowledge and skills and abilities to make it out there, to make it out in that big bad world as a competent human being. That's what we want for our children. And then being a mom, actually I will say it's one of the hardest jobs that I've ever done in my life. But let me tell you, it's one of the most rewarding job that a woman will ever experience. And again, I'm not saying only as a birth mother. Any child that you nurture, that you help through difficult times, that you guide, you are mothering that child. And I know you've heard that phrase before. The thing is that we honor our mothers. Honor our mothers. We don't all have the best mom. And some of us don't even know our birth mom. Remember me saying that? But no matter who your mom is or what she's done, she was the perfect mom. to bring about the greatness in you. And you know what? We never, ever know their full stories, why they've made the mistakes that they did, or why they reacted a certain way. But their story brought about the beginning of yours. So we must honor our mother. That's something that I've learned. And because of my relationship, that now my daughter is now my friend, some of my experiences I do at the right time share with her. I don't give her all the nitty gritty details. She don't need all of that. But I remember her telling me once, Mom, you don't understand. You're too perfect. And I had to say, baby, mm-mm, mm-mm. I've not always been like this. God has grown me up. But let me tell you, I've made quite a few mistakes. And over the years, I've shared some of those mistakes with her so that she understands that I feel some of the same things she feels. I've done some of the same things she's done. And I know some of the thoughts that she has. So I want to take this week and honor the many, many, many types of moms in my life. And I can't remember all of them, but I do know the women that I have had the privilege to call mom were that for a season and for a reason. So I'm so glad that you were able to hang out with me today for our ringside chat. You are amazing. Don't you forget it. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe or follow, depending on the platform you're on, so you won't miss a single episode. One more thing. Visit masteringyourmonday.com/pathway. And that's where you'll find my goodies and gifts just for you. Make sure you also let me know how I can serve you further. And that's just the place to do it. masteringyourmonday.com/pathway. Until next time, master every day like it's Monday. Take care. Bye-bye. I want to thank you for listening to the Mastering Your Monday podcast. I hope you learned at least one tip or technique you can walk away with and implement today. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show, and let us know how much you enjoyed it and what you learned from this episode. We honor your time and your commitment to Mastering Your Monday podcast. And as always, we want to remind you, you are cherished, respected, valued, and in control. See you on the next episode.